This week, the Lord led me to this text, this portion of the Bible, as a warning, or I just want you to know, I just want you to get prepared so that you know how to handle when these things happen, or when these things begin to show up in your life, that you don't do what you did in 2018, that you respond a different way in 2019. And so in prayer time, in me here, he said to go to Daniel. We're going to Daniel 6. Going to Daniel chapter 6. Daniel chapter 6. Daniel chapter 6. Let's start at I'm going to start at 1. Well, I paraphrase. Let's start at verse 16. Verse 16. Verse 16. Verse 16. I'll read the King James Version first, and then I'm going to go to the New Living Translation. 16 reads, Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Verse 17. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den. And the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose may not be changed concerning Daniel. And when he came to the den, just drop down to verse 20. When he came to the den, he cried with the voice of Daniel, and the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Verse 21. Then Daniel said unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and have shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocence was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Today we're going to talk about the dilemma in the den. The dilemma in the den. What's going on? Daniel was a mighty man of God. Daniel was an intercessor. Daniel was a prayer warrior. Daniel had favor with the king. Daniel had favor in his life. If you go back and read at the top of the chapter, verses 1 through 16, you'll find out that Daniel was one of the 3 presidents that resided over the kingdom. There was 120 princes that resided over the kingdom, and Daniel was one of the 3 presidents that ruled over the 120 princes. Look at it this way. Think of the United States. Think of governors that's over states. Think of having 3 Trumps. Jesus, no. But Daniel had so much favor in his life, and was so anointed by God and so called by God, that the Bible says that Daniel was over the presidents. Daniel was the top man underneath Darius, underneath, the head rulership, the head king. He was under him. He was the head man in charge. Daniel was. Well, the presidents, the other 2 presidents, and they got with the princes, they got with the mayors, they got with the governors, they got with Senate, and they said, listen, Daniel got too much power. Let's conspire. Let's make an accusation. Let's make up something on him so that he can lose his favor with the king. Okay? So they go to the king. They say, King, and you can read this. Your assignment this week, read Daniel 6, the entire chapter. They go to the king. They say, King, me and the other presidents, me and the other mayors and the other senators, we've gotten together and we came up with this thing, and all of us have agreed on it. For the next 30 days, nobody gets to pray to their God unless they praying to you. Yeah, they knew Daniel was the intercessor. They knew Daniel served God. They knew Daniel loved God. They knew Daniel had a relationship with God. They knew all of these things. But the Bible says that they could find no fault in Daniel. It said Daniel had nothing in him. It said his life was so clean. They couldn't go back to his past. His present. They couldn't find anything on Daniel. Nothing. So they had to attack what he loved. Come on, follow me. This is what you're going to be tested with throughout 2019. They had to find what he loved. And so they go to the king. All of them have a meeting with Daniel and say, listen, for the next 30 days, we're asking you if you could just sign a decree that there should be no praying for the next 30 days. And if a man is found praying, then he should be cast into the lion's den. You got to deal with him. And king, remember, once you sign this order, it cannot be reversed. Right? So the king, they trick him, they fool him, and he go along with it. He signs it for the next 30 days. Well, Daniel, in the meantime, he heard about what had happened. He knew the consequences. He knew what was going to take place if he prayed or continued to do what he was normally would do. He knew the consequences. But Daniel, just being an intercessor, being a prayer warrior, listen, when you are something, can't nobody take that from you. Yes, sir. I don't care. They told you not to pray at work. You may not pray on that line, but you sure go in that bathroom and pray. I may not pray in front of my customers, but baby, I'm going to go in that bathroom and spin around 10 times and pray and shout and scream and holler. Because I'm an intercessor. I'm a prayer warrior. It's what I do. Yes. And so that's what Daniel, that's the dilemma Daniel was in. And so the Bible says that Daniel, with knowing the consequences, fell on his knees and prayed 3 times a day. Yeah. So Daniel prayed in the morning, lunchtime, and at night. Because you can't stop an intercessor from praying. Yes. You can't stop a worship leader from leading worship. You can't stop a singer from singing. You can't stop a preacher from preaching. I may not be able to do it on your platform, but baby, I'm gonna find me a little corner, a little closet, and I got to get it out of me. It's just who you are. It's just who you are. And if you can just so easily stop doing who you profess to be, then baby, you're not it. It's not you. If the devil can you say you're an intercessor, and the devil can sense one thing in your life, and you stop praying, then you may not be an intercessor. You just like to pray. Intercessors pray when they cry. Lights off with a candle lit up in their house, but they still got to pray. Praying, whether they got gas in their car or not, they are always found praying. Preachers, we don't need a platform to preach. We'll preach on the corner. We'll preach it. I know the generation we're in right now, but if you're a real preacher, you'll preach at Walmart. And you won't get so discouraged with the lack of opportunity you have on a big platform. You'll be just content by ministering to people at Kroger's. Because I'm a preacher. God didn't call me so that I could be seen. He called me to deliver His word, and that can be in any shape, form, or fashion. Yes. So Daniel was found praying, and these low down people, they knew his times of praying. And so while he was praying, Shauna, they was watching him. Yes. They was watching him. And so when they seen him pray, they went back and told him, you know your boy that you got so much love for? You got so much favor. You giving him a complete just rulership of all this. He's even over us. You know, he is doing exactly what you just signed and forbidding everybody else not to do. He is completely disobedient, disobeying you. And he says, so what you gonna do about it? They put the king in a terrible position. Because understand this, the king loved Daniel. He absolutely loved Daniel. He loved him. He loved him. He hated that they brought the report back. He hated that they had. I just read it in verse 16. He commanded, and they brought Daniel to the king. All right. So Daniel goes to the king, and you find here in 16 through the rest of the chapter, Daniel never said nothing. He wasn't trying to beg or plead or, you know, I just didn't know, Lord. He didn't say anything. You got to be very careful, and this is the dilemma in the den, that somebody, something, someone is going to try to talk you out of that very thing you know God has called you to do, or called you to be, or call you to operate in. There is an enemy that is set up right now in your life that's trying to get you to sit down while you should be standing up. There's a devil that's trying to get you to stop preaching, praying, singing, coming to church. He's trying to make you so miserable, so frustrated that he's trying to stop you from doing what you know you was born to do. Threw him in the lion's den. Let me explain this. The lion's den had a minimum of 40 lions in it. A minimum. The Bible use the term den, but if you look it up or study it, it's when you have that many lions in one place, it's called a pride. And so in that pride or in that den, they had about a minimum of 40 lions in it. Now you know a lion can take down goats and elephants and all type of stuff in a matter of minutes. You know, a matter of minutes. And so Daniel was thrown in this place, thrown in this den with a minimum of 40 lions. Wow. All because he was doing what he was called to do. All because he was being who God had called him to be. And he had made up in his mind, I'm not going to let nobody stop me from being and doing what God has called me to do. How many of us right now are not operating in the place we're supposed to operate in because of somebody else? Wow. Because of the lack of support, or nobody pushed you, or nobody promoted you, or nobody did whatever. How many of us right now are sitting down on something we started? Because we started, but now we're sitting down on it because we found ourselves in a den. We found ourselves in a lion's den, and the den is not, you might not necessarily be in a den of lions, thank God, but you are in a den of depression. Another translation of den, D-E-N, is you can relate it to your house. You know, you have a living room, and some of us have a den. And most dens are just reading the definition of den just blew my mind because by definition it's a sunken low place or a lower place in your house that's not used for live entertainment, but it's a place that you go for privacy or like an informal meeting. It's a lonely place. Yeah. It's a lonely place. The den, you may be in a den of depression, a low sunken place in your life right now. You may be in a place of loneliness in your life. I'm telling you, there's a dilemma in the den, and you got to find out, what is my dilemma in my den? Yeah. You got to find it out. There's a dilemma. Yeah. There's a problem. There's a situation going on in my den, and I'm only doing what God has called me to do. I'm only being what God has. Why am I coming up? So many things are coming up against me just because I'm just fasting. Why all hell breaking loose? Why everybody right now trying to buy me free lunch? Why everybody now trying to bring food to work? We ain't never had this many people being that generous, bringing donuts and coffee and Panera bread and all type of. Why now? Because there's an enemy that's trying to get you to stop doing what God has called you to do. And God is testing you. God is trying to see, are you going to break? Wow.
Are you going to break?
In the midst of your den, are you going to break? Everybody's conspiring against you. Everybody is talking about you. Everybody wants your spot. Everybody is saying this and the other. But are you going to break? Are you going to allow it to move you? Are you going to allow them to sit you down? The devil is a liar. No. You are the powerful one. Watch this. Let's go a little further. Let's go a little further. Because this is the year that we're doing what? Trusting and... The year we're doing what? Trusting. Daniel had to trust God here. Daniel had to adjust. I don't know nobody in their right mind will walk willingly into a den of lions. He had to adjust. He had to adjust. He had to trust God. He had to just, and listen, did you hear what the king said? The king said, Daniel, let me find this. Verse 17. Verse 17. That's what Daniel. Yeah, verse 16. When the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said, Daniel, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. That's it. Now the king is scared. I just threw my boy, the one that I love and the one I trust, I just threw him in. Jesus. But I know the God he served. I've heard Daniel talk to him. I've seen Daniel pray to him. I've seen things happen as it relates to Daniel. That's why Daniel is over so many things in this kingdom. He says, so Daniel, don't worry. Because the God you serve every day, the God you pray to every day continually, he's going to bring you out. I almost kind of feel like Daniel knew what was going to happen, but I think the king was trying to encourage himself. Yeah. He was trying to tell himself, he was like David. He was encouraging himself in the Lord. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I just pray that your God come through for you. Yeah. When you get into a tight situation, what do you tell yourself? Wow. Come on. When things pop up or bills pop up or people pop up and things happen, what do you tell yourself? What type of conversation do you have with yourself when trouble arises? Come on. What words of encouragement or discouragement are you releasing out of your mouth? Come on. There's a dilemma in the den. There's a dilemma in the den. This is the year you have to stand up and be faithful in your convictions. You got to stand up and be true to your convictions. You have to not allow people to talk you out of the place God is trying to take you to. You can't allow it. I promise you, just as sure as you see me standing up here, there is a devil, there's an enemy, there's a agenda that's signed to each and every one of us that's trying to talk us out of serving God. He don't want you here on Sunday morning. He don't want you calling in on Monday night or Tuesday or Wednesday. Right now, he wants you to worry about how hungry you are. Come on. That's a devil. That's an enemy. He wants you to think about, man, I ain't got no choices. We usually eat good on Sunday evening. Now we don't know what we're going to eat. That's the devil. He's a liar. He got you worried about next week. He got you worried about some things that listen, don't even have a chance or a possibility of even happening in your life. Watch this. There are people that's going to leave you. Watch this. There are people that's going to love you when you're doing wrong, but hate you when you're doing right. I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming. They're going to love you when you're doing wrong and you're not really living up to their standard or living up to God's standard. And just as soon as you change and you turn for real, I ain't talking about halfway. I'm talking about make a whole turn 360. They're gonna begin to hate you. How are you going to handle when some of your best friends start to hate you for just doing right? How are you going to handle when they don't return your phone call, they don't respond to your text messages? How are you going to handle? Are you going to begin to express your feelings out on Facebook and begin to use the scriptures in the wrong way, trying to get back at people? How are you going to handle the dilemma in the den that you're operating or facing in right now? God is to be strong in your confession. So whatever you confess, be ready to live it out and walk it out. Yeah. If he's Lord, keep him Lord in your life. That means he's over everything in your life. There's a dilemma. Dilemma. Daniel didn't allow his situation to stop his consistency. He didn't allow it. He did not allow him being in the den. He did not allow them coming up against him. He did not allow any of those things. But Daniel continued to follow and flow and do what God had called him to do. What have you allowed to stop flowing in your life? What have you allowed? Because you have experienced a little opposition, or the enemy has kicked it up a little bit, and so therefore you may have told yourself, God must not want me to have it, he must not want me to be this, he must not want me to do this, all because of little light afflictions. What have you allowed to stop flowing? There's a flow that should be operating in all of our lives. We should not have no stuck places in our lives. What have we allowed to stop flowing? Flowing. That thing that's supposed to be flowing in your life. Not stuck, not stagnant, but flowing. Got it? Watch this. He said this. He says this. Write this down. What you have allowed to stop you from being you allowed the enemy to enter in. If you have allowed anything to stop you from being the person you really are, you've allowed the devil to come straight in your life. If you are Jamero up here so I can talk about him. If Jamero is a laughing, joking person, everything is LOL all the time. All the time. Jamero, my cat just died. He just screamed, he laughing. He don't care. He just LOL, just about everything. But the minute Jamero, not just that, but he has a big personality. He get along with everybody. He don't have mood swings. He loves people, and he's consistent all the time. His attitude, praise the Lord, all the time. His attitude, y'all agree, he's the same way all the time. The same way all the time. The moment Jamero allows life's challenges to interrupt who he really is, he just accepted something the devil gave to him. Wow. Yeah. The devil is on the inside of him because he's not himself, so he's acting like somebody. It's not him. Yeah. It's not God. So he's just accepting something. If you laughing and you're talking and you're playing, and that's one thing. Let me pause for a minute. I hate wishy-washy folks. Yeah. Woo! We don't know how to treat you. One day you laughing, one day we talking, and the next day you ain't even speaking. Make up your mind which one you want to be so that I can treat you in that manner. Anything you allow to come in, and just, well, Pastor, we all go through stuff. I'm not talking about going through things. You're going to go through things for the rest of your life, but it doesn't have to change your attitude. No. You can't sell me that lie. It does not have to change your attitude. You can be the same way, struggling. You can shout, struggling. You can be happy and hugging people. And here's the thing about it, I ain't did nothing to you. Why you gonna treat me different? Your brother or sister hadn't did nothing to you. Why you gonna treat them different? No, don't allow anything. Daniel continued to be who he was, even in the midst of a terrible, terrible situation. Through the court proceedings, even until his sentencing, he was the same way. Daniel didn't say a word. He didn't fight back. He didn't respond all crazy. He didn't call them no haters. He didn't say you jealous. Daniel didn't say anything. Daniel knew that God is with me. Yeah. He knew God is on my side. He knew God is right by me. Do you really know that God is right by you? Yes. Do you really know that God is with you? Do you really know that God will never leave you nor forsake you? Do you really know? Daniel, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. No matter, write this down. No matter what position I'm in, the devil can't touch me. No matter what position, I'm in, the devil can't touch me. I don't care how many people, I don't care how many lions, tigers, and bears try to come for me, they can't touch me. They can't touch my family, they can't touch nothing that's connected to me. They cannot touch. Tell your sense of self. I can't be touched. Come on, sense of self. I can't be touched. Put some MC Hammer on this and can't touch this. Can't touch this. Touch your neighbor. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. I don't care, devil. Let me just talk to the devil for a moment. I don't care what you try. You can't touch my mind. I hear God talking to the devil about Job, and you can touch everything he has, but you can't touch his life. You may touch my money sometime, and you may touch my car sometime, but baby, you can't take my emotions. I'm going to be happy whether I have it or whether I don't have it. I'm going to be joyful. I'm going to be upbeat. You can't touch me. But you got to walk around every day with that type of attitude. You can't touch me. I don't care what you try, but you can't touch. You ain't going to change my mood. You're not going to change the way I see and look at things. You're not going to change the word that I heard God speak to me. I know God told me he was going to bring me out. So therefore, I'm going to stand on that word. I don't care how many times I fall. All I know is God is going to bring me out. Says, you can't touch me. Psalm 27, 2 and 3 says, when the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came up to eat of my flesh, they're going to do what? Stumble and they fail. Verse 3 says, though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise up against me, in this will I be confident in. I'm trusting and adjusting in the Lord. I'm not leaning to my own understanding. I'm trusting in God. I'm going to acknowledge him in all of my ways, and he's going to do what? He shall direct my path. He's going to lead me out to the place of prosperity. He's going to lead me out to the place of deliverance. He's going to lead me out of the lion den or whatever type of den that I'm in today. He's going to lead me out of it. I can't be touched. I can't be touched. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. When Daniel, let me go to this part. When Daniel was in the lion's den, the Bible says that he was there an entire day. Their entire day. And the next morning, the Bible says that Darius, he could not even sleep that night. He was worried about his friend. He was worried about his number one man. So the Bible says that he rose early the next morning. He rose early the next morning. He rose early next morning, and the Bible says, I want to read it to you. I want to read it in verse 21. Verse 21. Hold on. Yeah, verse 21. Then said Daniel, let me go to 20. And when he came to the den, he cried with a whatever voice unto Daniel, and the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel. The king gets back the next morning. O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Yeah, he was checking on him. I'm going to check on my boy. The part that I shouted about, the Bible, verse 21 says, then said Daniel. Now he's been sleeping with at least 40 lions all night. When in any other time, these lions would have devoured him in a matter of seconds. I looked it up. The Bible says that not the Bible, Google said that a lion could kill a human being in a matter of 5 to 10 seconds and completely rip his bones to pieces in about 20 seconds. But Daniel stayed there for 24 hours. The king said, Daniel, my boy, was God able to deliver you? Daniel responded. Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. He said, my God hath sent. What he said? He sent angels and He says, David said, "O king, live forever. My God has sent his angels."
Jesus.
And not only
Glory
did
to
God
you.
send his angels, but he shut the mouths of the lion. Whatever is screaming and roaring in your life right now, whatever has a voice right now that's contrary to the word of God, I speak right now under the prophetic. I tell you that God is closing the mouth of the lion, tiger, and the bear. God is closing it right now so that you can hear him, so that you can see him, so that you won't be distracted any longer. Somebody say, "God, close the mouth, close the mouth, close the mouth."
Hallelujah. Yes. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
The dilemma in the deed is I'm surrounded by enemies. There's a dilemma in the deed. I'm surrounded by depression. There's a dilemma in the deed. I'm surrounded by poverty. There's a dilemma in the deed. I'm surrounded by loneliness and backbiting and hatred. There's a dilemma in the deed. I come to tell the devil, yeah, there's a dilemma, but it's not in the deed. You got a dilemma in me in the deed because I'm standing on the word of God. I'm trusting.
Jesus.
Okay.
Glory to God. Glory to God.
There's a dilemma in the den, but the den ain't my problem.
Glory to God.
I'm your problem. Yeah. Yeah. I'm your problem.
Glory to God.
I'm here to tell you, devil, you've been trying this, that, and the other. You've been sitting this years and years and years. I've been in the lion's den for over 10 years or over 5 years or over 6 months and over a year. But today, right now, on the 13th day of January, year 2019, I'm stepping out of the den. I'm stepping out whole. I'm stepping out brand new with a great mind, with a great heart.
Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Glory to God.
But you have to be adamant about your position in God.
Yes.
If you are an intercessor, continue to intercede. If you are a preacher, keep preaching. If you are a singer, keep singing. Don't let the other people stop you or even slow you down doing what God has called you to do.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's a dilemma, but it's not the den. You now got a problem with me because my God is able to bring me out of all of this. My God is able to annihilate every demon, devil, witch, warlock that tries to come up against me. My God is able to shut the mouth of the lion, to shut every lie down, to shut every rumor down. My God is able. Somebody say, God is able. God is. Touch everybody around you. Say, God is able. God, encourage them and tell them, say, God is able. And so,
Thank you, Lord. Yes. Glory to God.
so
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Lord.
the end of the thing is, you worried about getting your enemies back. That's God's job. You're spending so much time trying to prove something to them,
Yes.
and it don't even matter. It don't matter at all. Because God has something, God has a plan.
Yes.
God has a plan for the devil.
Yes.
God has a plan for every enemy in your life. God has a plan for every time you fell in that same trap by the same person that's out to manipulate and lie to you. God has a plan. God has a plan to bring you out and pull you through. Somebody shout, God has a plan. Watch this. And so when Daniel came out, when we came out,
Lord, I thank you.
and the king saw, okay, God did exactly what I thought he was going to do. The king said, go get every person that accused Daniel. It's in the text. Read it. Read it. It says, go get the presidents. Go get the princes. Not only them, but get their wives and get their children.
Yes, sir.
Holy Spirit, God says, what that means to you is that I'm killing generational curses.